What's up, guys? This is Lucky. I got more Battlefront Beta, and today we're going to do air combat, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, A-Wings, all kinds of good stuff. And I'm just going to talk random, because I'm still riding the Star Wars hype train. I just got through watching the trailer for the 100th time. I want to talk a little bit about it. Battlefront is 10 days out. Kind of want to do a little answer the naysayers type deal. And new posters came out this week, and a Japanese trailer dropped. It's been a big week for Star Wars. We are over like 6 weeks, something like that, out from the movie. I am super excited. I'm gonna date myself a little bit in that I've been a huge fan forever. I admit I'm more of an original trilogy guy. I remember seeing the original Star Wars, 1977. I remember going with my parents. I was a kid, but I do remember it, and I have this vivid picture still in my mind. One of the few like earlier childhood memories. And when I say earlier, I don't know exactly how. I was pretty young though, and basically, the Tantive 4 had been captured by that Star Destroyer, and the Stormtroopers had come through, and I remember that door with the cloud of smoke. Vader comes out for the very first time, and I just remember being totally blown away by that. I've been a huge Star Wars fan ever since then, and back in those days, movies ran forever. I can't remember a time for like 3-4 years of my life Star Wars was on, and like at least one theater in my town had Star Wars playing all the time. And I must have been to see that movie over and over. And I remember going to see Empire for the very first time. I remember going to see Return of the Jedi, and that just great memories. And a little bit of and a little bit of toughness too. Star Wars has been one of those things that I've shared for a long time, and I haven't talked a lot about this, definitely with my subs. I have not talked, my friends know. 3 years ago, my brother passed away, and Star Wars was one of those things that really bonded us together. We were within 3 years. We did hang around a lot of the same circle. We had some of the same friends. We clashed a lot too. We were very different people, but I still love him. But no matter how close or even antagonistic we were at any given time, Star Wars was that bond. If there was any Star Wars news, man, I would call and we'd talk to each other. We were constantly getting toys and all the prequels and special editions and pretty much every Star Wars movie I saw with my little brother. And it's so synonymous to me with him, almost that when he died, that for like over a year, I didn't watch Star Wars at all. I stayed away from all Star Wars stuff. And then about a year ago, as the news about the movie started to come out, and the first E3 trailers hit for Battlefront, I went back and I watched Star Wars again, and it's a bittersweet experience. So for me, just the music of John Williams and everything about Star Wars evokes really strong reactions of nostalgia, of childhood, of some of my best memories of my life. But they're like intermingled with, when I first watched it again, I cried like a baby. And when I go see the theater, there will be an empty seat right there for him. The very last thing he gave me was actually like this little stuffy big head Vader, and that will be with me. So, but I'm super pumped, and I just wish he could be here to see this. J.J. Abrams. For you guys who are doubters, J.J. Abrams has never let me down. His films are fantastic. He has a love of practical effects. Everything I've seen in the trailers basically ring true to that original spirit. And I don't want to talk, but if you watch the trailer, you get this sense of the Sand Planet. and kind of a sense of quietness. And you have this main character, Rey, a female, played by Daisy Ridley. And you get this sense that she is in that kind of like Luke scenario. She's that Luke archetype, so to speak. And here she is, she's trapped and she's desperate to get off, to get out, to explore the world. You know, the same thing that we all feel growing up, that we're ready to get out there and explore. And it's got that same sense. And then everything that happens after it, then something happens that like takes her on this journey. And then takes her closer to understanding the force or spiritual nature of things, and the effect of darkness on that, and the effect of darkness in your loved ones, and just all these mixed emotions that Star Wars mythology touches on. And I know some people may criticize it because it seems to be following, you know, oh, well, that's the exact same thing that they did before, but that's good. When you deal with mythology, it needs to be familiar, because the story of the hero, the mythological story of the hero, is the same. It's just got different dressing on it. And if for Star Wars, it needs to feel comfortable. It needs to feel the same. It needs to tap into that original magic. And the stuff that I see coming out of J.J. Abrams' camp with the trailers that they have out just tells me that is totally on board. Plus they have Lawrence Kasdan on board script writing, and he was the one who took Lucas's scripts and made them even remotely manageable back in the Empire Strikes Back days. And I'm just, guys, I think you're in for a real treat. I think it's going to be really special, and I think Abrams is going to surprise you, and you're going to get a really kick-ass movie. And I am someone admittedly let down by the prequels, and I liked part of the prequels. As a Star Wars fan, you can see the goodness in there. There's great ideas in there, but I think Lucas kind of got caught up in the glitzy and the glamour and the CGI-ness and kind of lost sight of the meaning. And J.J. Abrams is not that director. J.J. Abrams surprised you, and he is all about character. Every single one of his movies has been about character first in something and their motivations and exploring that, and then everything else is just kind of like this awesome window dressing. So I'm super stoked for it, and I'm super stoked for Battlefront. And yeah, man, I wish my bro could be there. I really do. But he'll be there in spirit, and I know he would be super excited, just like I'm super excited now. And so I'm just gonna have to. I'm going to see it twice in the first day, so I'm gonna have to live it out for him and like do it up. But on to Battlefront, which is 10 days out. I'm a huge Battlefront fan too. Played Battlefront, the original Battlefront. I played it so much on my PS2. I broke multiple controllers playing that. And then, I mean, I'm talking like Battlefront 1, and then Battlefront 2. Oh, by the way, I hope you guys are enjoying the track. Track is the Star Wars Electro Dubstep mix by a boy named HalfCut, and the kid's pretty fucking good, man. So check out his SoundCloud. I'll put a link in the description. But anyway, on to Battlefront. And there's a few things I really want to talk about Battlefront. One, let's talk The Matrix and kind of like, should you buy it? You probably wouldn't be watching this video or have gotten this far if you're not going to buy it, but chances are, let's just say for instance, here's your Matrix. Are you a Star Wars fan, yes or no? If you're a Star Wars fan, the answer is yes. You're not a Star Wars fan if you don't buy this game. I don't care what the fuck you say. I mean, unless you just don't play video games at all. But come on. I haven't even been a fucking decent Star Wars video game in 10 years. This one's gonna be good. Real fucking good. Good enough. Are you a casual shooter? If you're not a Star Wars fan, do you like casual, fun multiplayer? Or are you very competitive? If you like casual, fun multiplayer, buy the fucking game. If you're more competitive, I don't know, you may want to wait. It's kind of hit or miss. I don't know if this is going to be the competitive game. I think there'll be competitive aspects of it for people who are a little competitive, But I don't think this is going to be your esports title by any stretch of the imagination. And lastly, 3. Are you a jaded fucking dickhead? If you are a jaded fucking dickhead, you don't need to buy it, because you're not going to like it no matter what they do. Alright, so the beta came out. I fucking loved it. I think that much is totally obvious. Most everyone I know who actually played the beta enjoyed it, except a few people didn't, and they had some valid concerns. But there's quite a bit of hate, and actually what I found, at first I thought it was quite a bit, but then I got to really looking and realized it's a very, very loud minority. Like, there's this minority out there that's being very, very loud that either hates everything EA does, or they hate that this is not Battlefront 2. They have some concerns, and I'm going to address those quickly. 1, no space battles, okay? The Battlefront 2, not the original Battlefront, Battlefront 2 had space battles. This has space battles that aren't technically in space, but it has dogfights. It has aerial dogfights. It has a whole mode that's nothing but dogfights. There you go. It's got it. Now Battlefront 2 allowed you to board cruisers. They're gonna say, well, I can't board a cruiser on this. Guys, come on. That was fucking, it was fun like the first 2 or 3 times we did it. But even back then, you had to admit it's kind of lame. It was lame. It was a totally empty starship. It was fucking lame. I mean, really. Come on, it's not, you've got dogfights. If you really like space combat, you have dogfights. And probably there'll be DLC that's actually out in space. So, guys, get it. Promise. Have fun. Okay? Get over the fact that you can't board a starship. It's not that big a deal. And plus, the original Battlefront had no space battles. It was land combat only, and that's what they focused on. The original one didn't even have a single-player campaign. Battlefront 2 did have a single-player campaign. It was a very weak single-player campaign. In fact, almost all the critics' reviews said it was, barely serviceable. It was just decent, okay single-player campaign. It really wasn't that good. Call of Duty 2 totally outshined it that year. I think God of War 2 came out that year too. Oh my god, talk about single player. It freaking blew the fuck up. There's so many titles that year that had better single player than Battlefront 2 did. It's ridiculous. It wasn't even that great. So get over it. But on the flip side, this does have single player content. It's got a horde mode called Survivor. It's got special missions that are single player only. You go on like a mission. It's got hero missions where you play as a hero. It's got these things that are single player story missions. Speeder bike chase, single player. It's got single player content. But you know what it has? The other one had one mode, capture the spawn point. That's it. This has got 10 different multiplayer modes. 10! It blows it out of the water. People are saying it only has 4 planets. That's not enough content. You're getting ripped off. The old ones had 12 to 18 planets. That's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say. And God love you, they did. Yes, I would love to see Coruscant. I'd like to see some of the prequel content. Yes, I'd like to see some other planets. I'd like to see maybe Yavin 4. I like a map on the Tantive 4. Inside the halls, like a deathmatch scenario, would be freaking awesome. But I'm good with it. Guys, these planets are massive with lots of different locations within them. More fully realized than anything. More fully realized, more immersive, and more beautiful than anything we've gotten. And they take 10 times the work. Like, one of these planets takes more work than it took to create all 18 of those. Think about that. I mean, the actual work. These environments and planet, what we're getting is amazing, and you've got 10 different modes. Now, lastly, some people don't like the pickup system for heroes. It used to be kill streak based. Now it's like random, because EA wants other people to have a chance to play. I kind of get your point, but is that really a deal breaker? Really? Seriously? Shouldn't be. And then lastly, the weapons and cards in the beta were not varied enough. Since then, guys, they've got shotguns, they've got sniper rifles, they've got heavy weapons, they've got blasters, they got all the types of guns that you would typically see, pulse rifles. The Star Card system is going to allow for hundreds of combinations to create many different types of classes. It's got everything you want. So just break down, get the game, you're going to have fun. Star Wars is coming. It's a great time. This is Lucky signing out.